Hello, everyone, and welcome to Just Forget About It. This is our 12th episode, and this episode is going to be called Counted Out. This is definitely going to be a heavy topic. I'm pretty serious about all the things that I speak about in this particular episode because I feel like a lot of us hide from our pain in our healing process and only want to gratify when we feel better again. So I just want to open by saying I don't always feel good. And this is a passion of mine. So I'm pushing through, y'all. So bear with me. Count it out. Just Forget About It, episode 12. Let's go. So, count it out. How do we stand in our power when others project, deflect, disregard us? In the eyes of defeat, how do we build ourselves back up? And I don't mean egotistically. I mean, you are really encouraged to take next steps for your success. First off, let me say, we must never be ashamed or feel bad for doing what is right. Now, for everyone, their moral compass is a little bit different, but by the means of society and the powers that be, in the United States, most of the time is where people that view this show or have been streaming from, but either way, most of civilizations in the world structure that, hierarchy kind of way of having society. So, in the midst of our turbulence, being counted out, disregarded, being told who we are in the face of our enemies, you know what, good people? Without challenges, we remain stagnant. So we must meet these moments with tenacity. Now, I know this almost sounds like blind optimism, but truly it isn't. This is all coming from life experience and not no bucket of imaginary hope. So, when people count us out, disregard us, a part of being resilient means being so fed up, being so emotionally disturbed. There has to be a part of us that's literally like so disgusted with the aspect of being improperly identified that we have to properly figure out a way to tackle these shadow sides that people feel are the gist, the bread and butter of our character. Because one bad moment does not equate to a bad life or a bad person. And I think a lot of times we get ourselves tripped up on others and trying to get back at others or prove to others we're not what they say we are. When in the end, looking at these opposing perspectives can ultimately help us tackle our demons, the things that make us uncomfortable, our shadow side, our shortcomings, whatever respective word you want to use to describe our not so pretty characteristics. It's a sense of desperation and like agony that we need to perpetuate to birth the creation of our higher self. Understanding that we are operating from our higher self, we understand that when people count us out unjustifiably, say you did something foolish and you pushed yourself out of the running for something, that's different. But counting us out just because we're who we are is a sense, not even a sense, it's spiritual warfare. When we talk about or we hear about spiritual warfare, people think it's, some big major battle of someone trying to take your life physically. In a lot of these instances, things like that do happen. However, spiritual warfare most of the time comes from disappointed people that don't know what to do with their disappointment. And it's masked as anger. And they usually are easily identifiable. They have identifiable traits, and I'm going to call them the quad Ds because it usually comes in fours. And these are, they usually defend, deny, deceive, and downplay. So these are the people that are counting you out. And this is normally accompanied with no accountability or no shame for the ones they blame or perpetuate false narratives on. It's envy at the root of all the ugliness, if we want to be honest with ourselves. And envy, if we're going to be frank with ourselves, because this is what we do here at Just Forget About It. Envy is something I feel like, now stay with me, we all have to a certain degree. Now listen to me. I know people are like, envy, I'm not an envious person. And I'm with you on that. But listen, think about it. I feel like there are 2 degrees of being envious. Now, I heard this from Robert Greene, the author of 48 Laws of Power, on a podcast. I can't remember the name of it, but it was brilliant. It was 2 hours long, and I was like entrenched in what he had to say about navigating people, personalities, when you are on your pursuit to success, happiness, fulfillment, whatever that may look like for you. So there are 2 forms of envy. There is active and passive envy, or inactive envy. So, of course, inactive would refer to, say, you being triggered by hearing a friend got a house or a new car before you. And you guys both have been talking about that. That's been the premise of your conversations for like the last 3 months. Now, inactive envy would allow you to think about it and be subjective about it and say, okay, why am I really feeling envious right now? I'm feeling envious because I want it to be my turn. And if we're being frank, that is a normal feeling. It's not something we want to give into. It's not something we want to feed, but it's something we want to acknowledge, move forward from, and genuinely then be able to give happiness to our friends and be genuinely happy for them. Now, active envy is the exact opposite. Active envy is using manipulation, power, and intimidation tactics, which oftentimes can be very dangerous. Envy has driven many to kill and others murdered that have been too prideful to carefully handle their warfare with momentum and vigor. I'm telling you, when you identify spiritual warfare in your season of renewal, because we have to be vigilant. It's spring. It can be a duality for anybody. It can be a renewal or a reaping. And trust me, you don't want to be on the end of a reaping. But however, I digressed. Envy oftentimes is driven by, what I was saying, manipulative, power-driven intimidation tactics that often are rooted in envy, jealousy. And we have to handle these with momentum and vigor. You'll be surprised at what pressure, willpower you can develop when your spirit man is under attack. Tapping into your spiritual purpose, whatever that may be, will single-handedly be the best thing you can do for yourself. Now, people may be saying, How do you know that you're tapping into your spiritual purpose? Well, it, from what I can see and from what I've been feeling, it manifests through emotional control and stability, controlled and paced manners. And I mean manners in the way that you handle yourself, in the way that your energy is. It's not rushed, insecure, or scattered. It's very calm. Or when it's time for you to be forceful, you know how to do it without exerting the energy, exerting the physical energy, if that makes sense. In closing, about being counted out and any respective situation that we're in, what we're trying to achieve in life, where we want to go, what fulfills us. And I want to leave all of my Just Forget About viewers with this. I feel that we must learn how to detach our worth, our point of view, and our values from others, especially when they trigger or anger us. Simply said, when people try to put their anxiety, their feelings, their interpretations of you on you, and it's off, you have to think simply said, that's them and not me. That's it. That's all. Nothing more and nothing less. No other emotions should be allocated for or to this moment. So, in this season of development, I want you guys to be encouraged. As I speak to you, I'm encouraging myself because we all are suffering in some way, shape, or another. We have to delegate and determine for ourselves what is worth suffering for and what things we can disregard. We get too wrapped up in, even though people want to be hyper independent and I don't care what people feel. If you're getting into arguments with people on the internet, or if you've gotten to arguments with people on the internet, if you told someone that may have been griping about having a bad day that they were being rude, you care. If it may not be a constant or consistent thing, but we all have had moments where we care about what others feel. And in the midst of coming to the realization, accepting that, and then rerouting our reactions, we can learn to count ourselves in when others count us out. Still be empowered, still be encouraged, and still be powerful. Stand in your power, 2024. Until the next time, just forget about it. Out. Yeah.